Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your beautiful faces back to the channel. Now, we got a very special one for you today, okay? Because I'm actually showing you 3 games of chess. And you might be thinking, why the hell is that special? Well, it's because I've actually played okay. Now, if you ever tuned into my YouTube shorts or if you follow me on TikTok, I play a lot of bullet chess. We make a lot of mistakes, and it's actually quite hilarious, so definitely check them out. But I think it's only fair. If I'm going to show you the bad, I got to show you some of the good. So I've got 3 games that I've played in like the last week or so. Just rapid games, so 10-minute time controls, where I've actually played really quite good actually. So I sit around 1500. That's in rapid. In bullet, I think I hover between like anywhere from 1000 and 1200 depending on the day. It really does depend. But I'm going to show you 3 games where I've been at about 1500, and we're going to jump straight into it. So we have the white pieces for game number 1. I always play e4. It's like a religion at this point. E4 is a religion. They play e5, knight to f3, knight to c6. This is about as normal as can humanly get. I then play bishop to b5, the Ruy Lopez. They play d6, the old Steinitz, and here there's so many things you can do. You can literally just develop your knight, you can short castle, but on this channel we love attacking chess. So we go ahead and play d4, just striking in the centre. And if they don't take or immediately deal with the issue, I'm going to play d5 and just, this knight is pinned, it can't move, so it's going to be uh-oh spaghetti-o. They take. I recapture with the knight. Bishop goes to d7. Now this is all normal theory, this is all book moves, there's nothing too crazy just yet, but give it about 10 moves and we're going to start sacrificing literally everything. We just short castle, they bring their bishop out to e7, so clearly they're wanting to play like knight f6 as well and just get short castled. I play knight c3. Bishop comes out, much more active diagonal, and this knight now has a lot of pressure on it. I mean, you'll notice the bishop, the knight that's no longer pinned, because this bishop now blocks. So a lot of pressure on this knight in the middle. I got to deal with this threat, otherwise it's going to be time to get under the desk and start crying. Bishop goes to e3 to defend. They take, I recapture. Does the knight take? No, they just play knight to f6, attacking this pawn. I then play knight to d5, just attacking in the centre of the board, okay? I told you, we love attacking chess. You'll see the eval bar wasn't overly pleased with that move, but I hate the eval bar, okay? I've never been a fan. They capture the bishop, so it's very important now that I get my move order correct, because, I don't know, let's just say I was to take on d4, you'll see the eval bar has absolutely just fallen off a cliff. It's just nosedived off a cliff, and that's because they can take my unprotected bishop and they will be up a piece. So it's very important here that I take the bishop with check first. Okay, the move order here is so important, so I obviously do this, otherwise, well, I wouldn't be showing you this game, would I? They recapture. I then take the knight, materials equal, everyone is happy. They short castle, I bring my rook over to the centre because I'm preparing to lob this pawn up the board like some sort of tennis ball. c6 is played, kicking my knight, so I jump back to c3. Then they bring their rook over. Now the engine here is absolutely begging me to take the pawn on d6, but I don't do that for some reason. For some reason, I don't see that this pawn is hanging, or maybe I did and just didn't want it. I don't know, guys. I'm not sure. They move the knight, so the pawn is no longer hanging. I bring my rook over, so we are double stacked. They play c5. Queen drops back to d2. They lift their rook, and I bring my rook over. Okay. Clearly, I'm preparing the move like queen h6. This pawn wouldn't be able to take because of this pin, and we're just going to have an overwhelming amount of pressure on this g-file. Hopefully. They play queen c7, and so now here I can really, really punish them. I can play this beautiful move, rook takes on g7. Because let's say you go over here comes the queen, and it's like, well, this is very scary, okay? What would you have to play here? Like, could you play here to defend this knight? Potentially, but then I just bring this other rook, and it's very, very scary for black. Unfortunately, I don't see this absolutely mind-boggling rook sacrifice, and we get into a position like this where they've played g6. Now, I then slide my rook over to attack this knight. They take the pawn. I hop my knight forwards because, well, you know, why wouldn't I hop my knight forwards and fork the queen and the rook? They slide the queen over. I take the knight first. Now, this is really important. This is given as a brilliant move. I don't know how to prove that to you guys. Oh, there you go. You can see brilliant move. Boom. This is given as a brilliant move. Wait, how do I get it back? Boom. Brilliant. I just want that to show up on screen. That's my proudest moment, my claim to fame. So clearly here, they're going to be recapturing this rook. okay? They don't really have much of a choice because, well, otherwise I'm just going to take your rook, or like this is hanging. And so you want to be able to trade this off, but that is a huge mistake. And there's actually a reason I got rid of this knight in the centre, because this knight currently is guarding this f6 square, where my knight would absolutely love to jump to. So I sacrifice my rook. They recapture, and then knight f6 check, the absolute royalist of all royal forks. I mean, this isn't quite how a knight moves, but you know, God loves a trier, supposedly. There we go. Let me just draw it properly. There we go. Hope you guys are happy. God loves a trier. The king cannot go this way, so the king, of course, has to go to h8. And in this position, I, of course, capture the... No, I'm joking. Of course, I don't capture the queen. I give checkmate. Boom! Game number 1. We played extremely well. We picked up an absolutely gorgeous checkmate. I mean, I was most proud of this rook takes on e4. Because it's like I'm losing the exchange, but this knight guards a very crucial square on f6. So I have to take. And it's like, I want to see what the best move here is actually for black. It just wants rook e6. Okay. But then I'd surely just go for this. You go, oh wait, no, it doesn't want that. What does it want? Oh, wow. Just wants rook to h3. What a gangster move. Just, like, overwhelming this side. And then you've got to play, like, f6 or something. But it's ultimately losing. Wait, f6 with knight take. Could knight take? No. Not at all. Because of this. And then the queen defends. What the hell am I talking about, guys? We're moving straight on to game number 2. We have the white pieces again. My rating for this game was 15-14, playing up against somebody who was 14-88. E4, like I said to you guys, it's like a religion for me, okay? Sort of like Star Wars is. It's a religion. E4, E5, knight to F3, knight C6, bishop B5. I've clearly found my bread and butter. Okay, the Ruy Lopez is mwah. I still get so many decisive games from it. They play D6, again the old Steinitz. D4 is played, looking for this central variation, looking to overwhelm the knight on C6. They play bishops D7, I play D5, and here they actually make a bit of a mistake in knight to D4. Now, this would be fine if it didn't result in me winning a pawn. So obviously I take the bishop first with check. They recapture with the queen, because if you take with a king, then you can't castle anymore, and it's a bit uncomfortable. Then I take the knight, the pawn takes back, and then I take the pawn. So I have a queen in the centre of the board, absolutely scoping at everything. It can't be attacked with a knight, so it's just unprovoked in the centre of the board, and I'm up a pawn after 8 moves. Like, mwah, guys, you've got to play the Ruy Lopez. Knight to f6 is played, I short castle, they long castle, which is given as a mistake because of the move, of course, queen a7. I just pick up a free pawn. They bring their queen over to b5. I mean, this is about as active as their queen can be. It's a very defensive move. It allows the king to have a square to run to, while also pressuring my b2 pawn if I ever wanted to maybe bring my bishop out somewhere. So really good move by my opponent. Knight to c3 is played. They drop back, offering me a queen trade. You guys know me. I hate queen trades, okay, because it completely nullifies the position and it makes chess way more boring, I feel. I feel you can get some like really cool checkmates with the queen still on the board. But if they're going to allow me to double stack their b pawns after they've long castled, why the hell would I not trade queens? Especially because now, after bishop e3, you actually cannot defend this pawn. I mean, of course you can march your king forward like my opponent does. But then knight b5, and the king can't step forwards, this square's attacked, so you have to go to the side or backwards. So this pawn is dead. So I recapture, I just take the pawn. I'm up 3 pawns now, by the way. Rook goes to c8, I play c3 just to defend that pawn. They take in the centre, but this allows me to gain a tempo on this knight, which has to reroute and move. I then attack the knight again. I'm literally just kicking the knight about, repositioning my pieces, and then double stacking the rooks. Now, this felt really important, because if I can get a rook onto this 8th rank, it feels like it's over, okay? Because your bishop can't come out here, because, well, then I'd just take it. So when I come here, we're just going to make a trade, and I'm just going to checkmate you. They play b6, so now when my rooks infiltrate, they have a square to run to, but I still put my rook on the 8th rank. They take, I take back, and now they can go to b7. But now I can capture this pawn, okay? I know it isn't technically hanging because bishop can take, But if the bishop were to take, then I'd be able to take this rook. So, although it is defended, it's not really defended, if you know what I mean. So I capture the pawn, they play king to c7, I just drop back to where I was with check, king has to move back, c4 is played, so now I'm just going to march my pawns up the board and look to just overwhelm this king. My bishop now attacks their bishop, so they have to recapture it, so I take back with the pawn. And although this pawn on c5 isn't defended, again they cannot take because I will take their rook, so they cannot take. So they move their king to attack my knight, I give a check, they step over, and now the beautiful move, knight to e6. So now I have two pieces attacking this bishop, they only have one defender, there's nothing they can really do. They move their king, I take the bishop, and I take the rook. And now it's just a really, really simple endgame to win. They're going to go after my pawns, but I'm just going to push. d7, pawn defended by the knight. They push, I play c6, which looks weird because it's not defended, but if the king takes, I just promote. So you can't actually take this undefended pawn. That seems to be the story of this second game. You can't take my undefended pieces because you lose on the spot. So they go g5. I play here, giving a check, but the main idea is because I'm, of course, guarding d8. So king has to move, I make a queen, and my opponent resigns. So absolutely clinical games in the Ruy Lopez. But it feels wrong to only show you guys games with the white pieces. I feel as though I need to show you a game with the black pieces, okay? I can't just show you games with the white pieces. In this game, I was playing somebody that was 1501. I'm 1522 again, so clearly my elo fluctuating around the 1500s. They play d4, d5, c4, c6. This is a Slav defense, of course. Knight jumps c3. I just develop my knight, they develop their knight, and my bishop comes out to about as active as a diagonal as you can get. I mean, this is gorgeous. Their bishop goes to g5. I play e6, they play e3, and now it's like we're out the opening. We just need to get our pieces developed, and it's very clear in the Slav where you want to put your pieces. Like the knight wants to go to d7, the bishop wants to come out here, pinning the knight. If you don't play the Slav, I really, really recommend it, guys, against the Queen's Gambit. It's such a good defense. Even if you play like a Marshal against the Queen's Gambit, you can also then go into a Slav, because the Marshal is you bring your knight over to f6 like ASAP, but you can always play c6 after that anyway. Bishop to e7, their knight comes to h4 attacking my bishop, so I drop it back, because now if you take my bishop, I'm going to take back with the h-pawn, and if you ever short castle, my rook is just going to be staring down your king, so it's like you don't really want to be doing that, but my opponent does that. And you'll notice that Evalbar says it's absolutely fine, but again, very consistent theme on this channel. We hate Stockfish because we're not computers. We don't find the moves that proves that this position is completely equal. Like, how on earth? It's just beyond us. They develop their bishop. I develop my queen, because now if they do short castle, watch the eval bar, it would of course be checkmate in one. So it felt like queen c7 was very natural looking. But here they play bishop to f4, so I just play bishop d6. They take, and then push their pawn, so I just drop back. So again, if they short castle, it's checkmate. So their queen comes out, and they may be preparing long castling here, though it feels like maybe the best idea is just to leave the king in the centre of the board, which is very rare, but there are games where that is, you know, more than fine. I play knight to d7. The idea here is I just want a long castle, because if I can get both rooks on the open H file, then it's like, oh dear, my opponent's in trouble. They play g3, which looks fine, very natural, allowing them to short castle, but then they long castle anyway, so I was a little bit perplexed by this g3 move. It feels like, I don't know, maybe a little bit of an overcommittal move, especially if you're not going to bother to castle that way. But now they've long castled, I can just play e5 and make a bid for the centre, and if you don't take, then I'll play e4 and fork your queen and bishop, so like you kind of need to deal with that. So they do take. I take back with the knight, forking the queen and bishop anyway. Queen f4, I take with check, rook has to recapture, and then again I trade queens. You'll notice I only ever trade queens if I feel it benefits me. And the reason this benefits me is because they have double stacked pawns, and if I can whittle it down to an endgame now, I have a target, okay? I have something I can go after, as does my opponent. But it feels like this is a little bit worse because my king's going to get there before their king gets here. That's my logic. It might not make much sense, but it does to me. I play knight to e4, which the eval bar absolutely hates because of knight captures. But I thought after a rook trade, I was absolutely fine. because I can play f5 here. And I don't see how my opponent is ever going to cause me any trouble. So I trade rooks, and it's a completely even game now. Like, I have to find king d7. I've got, like, any other move I'm completely losing. But it's just so natural looking. And so although the engine gives this as a dead draw, at least I know I'm never going to lose. And that's the play with black. Like, don't always have to play for a win, just as long as I know that I'm not going to lose. Also, this move a4 I was so proud of, because it just cuts off so many squares from the king. Like, you really cannot move. They play h4, and I actually play the move e3. And I was really proud of this move, because although they take, and they're up a pawn, my king is now going to start marching. And here they have to find b5, which they don't. So you're going to notice the eval bars start creeping a little bit in my favour. King f3. King goes to d3. This is the best move. I take. Opponent goes king d4, because obviously now it's a race, okay? They're going to go this way and look to capture some pawns. I don't know which way is best. And I'm going to go this way, and it just feels like I'm quicker. King f3. King goes to e5. They needed to go to d3. They needed to defend this pawn, because now I'm just completely winning this race. And b5 is a huge blunder, because I can take this pawn. King goes down. And now I just offer a pawn trade. And either my A or B pawn is going to go promote. So they don't take, so I just push. And in this position, my opponent resigned. Because there's nothing you can do. Like, even if you push this pawn, I promote with check. And if you go down to c8, well, the queen goes down to b2, and I'm just going to start threatening to pick up all your pawns, and then infiltrate on this back rank, and stop you promoting. So guys, there are the 3 games, okay? Absolutely clinical games. It's very rare I play them, so please celebrate them with me in the comments, because I will probably never play this well again. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to smash that like button, and subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.